Okay, everybody, I have a special guest today, and she is somebody that I met through social media on Instagram, and we have a shared purpose wanting to help fellow dietitians. And I'd like to introduce to you Brooke Schantz Fosco, and she's got a couple different businesses that can help dietitians. And let's hear from Brooke. Brooke, welcome.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you. I'm super excited about this. You will be our very first Dietetic Career Spotlight that is a video, and people can then see what somebody is up to and how they can help other dietitians. And so tell us a little bit about your background as a dietitian and how you got interested in dietetics as a career.
So I actually was told by my mother that she never wanted to take me to the grocery store because I always end up reading all the labels, and she couldn't get out of the grocery store. We'd be in there for hours. So I think I had the passion for nutrition and food from the beginning. And then in 8th grade, I was a 10-year 4-H member, and my mom sent me to a 4-H workshop at Purdue University because I'm from Indiana. I have a great jump shot, a basketball jump shot, by the way. And at that workshop, I got to do a titration to find out how much vitamin C was in various orange juices. And I completely geeked out. And I think from then on, it was dietetics. And I ended up going to Purdue University and got my bachelor's in science there.
I think that's so true. I think someone always has like this idea of something that was like their pivot point or something that was super exciting. For me, I used to read all of these nutrition almanacs and love to put on lots of different foods onto my face's facials, like egg whites and what else did I use? Avocado and oatmeal. And I just thought it was just amazing what transformation nutrition can have on you and what it can do to your body as well. So it's always fun to hear like what everyone's sort of pivotal point was in choosing the career. So now tell us about you've got quite a few things going on right now. You have a private practice.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a business that you're just starting to promote, and that's helping people with electronic medical records or health records. Tell us about that.
So it's really interesting. This is one of the things I love about dietetics. We are trained so well in so many areas that, I mean, you can make your career whatever you want it to be. And I think that's just so exciting. And I started out coming out of grad school. I moved to Chicago because the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics was here. And I just had a feeling I was supposed to start my career in Chicago. And I worked for a pediatric company. I was running their pediatric nutrition department straight out of grad school. Everybody said that was not an entry-level job, and I pitched the job to this company, and I got it. So again, you can make your career whatever you want it to be. In that year, I also started Bitchin' Nutrition, and it's not a cuss word. It means nutrition is fun, cool, and exciting, and have a lot of private practice clients through that. And then I went into outpatient and worked for a large hospital and did outpatient dietetics for a few years. Love that. Then I started teaching for a local university because I really enjoyed working with RD2Bs and wanted to help, future dietitians and kind of pass that apple on to the next generation, if you will. And that kind of led me to morphing Bitchin' Nutrition, which again, nutrition is fun, cool, and exciting, into this side business. And that is that career coaching platform plus EMR solutions. So how can dietitians, whether you're a private practice RD, whether you're a clinical dietitian, whether you're a clinical nutrition manager, maybe you're an outpatient dietitian, you're a community dietitian at WIC, how can you really improve your charting? Because we need to increase efficiency. That's what I hear a lot about RDs. That's a major pain point. We need to document and demonstrate our value better because we want to increase our salary. Of course, everybody wants to get paid more. And then we also want to properly track outcomes and monitor our interventions. And the why on that is legal. Legally, you want to do this to protect yourself. And I have been in a few situations with, even working with fellow friends of mine and our colleagues, and then even myself, it came at one time where somebody said, oh, you didn't have a long enough visit. And I said, actually, I did, because in my note, I documented 25-minute initial assessment in the patient's bedroom. So again, helping RDs really protect themselves legally is also kind of what, through my own personal experiences and my colleagues that I ended up helping out, kind of led me to that EMR Solutions sidestep.
I love that you got involved with that, because I think that's something that the training can vary depending on where someone's done their internship, whether it was a clinical focus or not. But I think the bottom line is to elevate the practice and to elevate the value, whether it's perceived or real. I think elevating the value by being able to document it is super important. And I think having that service, providing that service for other dietitians, you know what top value is and what it needs to look like. And I think that's so great to have that available to dietitians as a resource and coaching people on that. I think that was super interesting to me, and I think it's a niche that has not been filled necessarily, and bringing it out of the internship and into practice is significant and super helpful. I also want to hear back when you said that you had worked in your pediatric clinical job, that you pitched yourself into a position that you probably felt like maybe you weren't qualified for, or that you thought maybe the recruiter didn't think you were qualified for, but you pitched. Do you remember back how you made yourself stand out, or what was it that you did that really was the solidifying moment that got you the job?
I mean, I absolutely don't think I was qualified to run a nutrition department fresh out of grad school, but I did it. And it just goes back to, I feel like some of my professors was like, this goes back to, everybody always talks about you have to start an inpatient, and you absolutely do not.
Yeah.
Again, you're trained well, you can start wherever you want to start. I think it's just being your own advocate. That's what I had to do. I knew I had the skills and talents. I was trained very well. I just needed the gumption to go into that meeting and sell myself. And I did sell myself because I got that job.
Yeah.
And then I also asked for an extra $5,000 for a salary, because why not?
Right. Exactly. Why not? You just have to ask. And so I think what I'm also hearing from you is a healthy dose of confidence, and confidence can get you so many places. Like you said, though, your background, you had the education, you had the skills, you had the know-how. You maybe didn't have the experience that you thought you might have needed, or what you thought other people didn't realize that you didn't have, or did realize, but it was the confidence to sell yourself to get you to that position. So that's really good. And then having the confidence also to know to go into electronic medical record help for other dietitians, I think is sort of big thinking and being confident in what your skills are and how you can help other people. So now the other area that you've been able to help dietitians is, and you started off sort of as like a side business helping people with their resumes, because you saw a lot of resumes in your work. You started to help people in a special area of their resumes. Tell us about that.
So, I mean, again, it's just interesting. Again, advocating for yourself. You're the only one that knows all of your experience, the skills you cultivated over the years. And I have been on numerous academy committees, both local, state, national. And through that, I've always been scanning and been on these selection committees for awards or other volunteer positions within, again, all of the academy levels, and seen so many RDN resumes at this point. And I was helping my friends with resumes for free. And then I was just thinking back what I would do, if I was giving advice to somebody else as a career coach, and I would say, don't do anything for free. Your time is money. And again, dietitians, we want to help people. So I was doing things for free, but you have to, again, ask for your value. So I was like, well, this should just be a side business, and I kind of took Bitchin' Nutrition and launched a side pathway, which I'm really excited about because I've already helped a lot of dietitians with their resumes. And I just helped somebody work on a pediatric award resume the other day, because just like you would apply for a job, you still within your resume can really demonstrate, again, your value and advocate for yourself when you go up for these awards or grants or a job promotion, etc. You should alter your resume for that specific award. And I don't think a lot of dietitians were doing this just based on the resumes I was reviewing.
Yeah. And how do you think that resume differs? So if you're going to tailor your resume, not for a job specifically, but for an award, are there some key things that people should be doing in their process?
So I was actually just on a career coaching call the other day, and it's a good example of an award resume example. So she was applying for a pediatric award position, has a lot of pediatric experience, but she was lacking on her resume like a qualification summary, which would go at the top to talk about all of her experience. And it can be called different things. Qualification summary is just a standard name. And then also a skills section. So we worked on during our hour coaching call to really help make those areas and build those areas out on her resume to sell her enough to hopefully land that pediatric award. So how did we do this? Instead of calling it just a qualification summary, which she didn't even have one to begin with, we were calling it a pediatric qualification summary, because again, the award, it says pediatrics on it. So let's make things very simple for that selection committee, basically dummy proof, and just put it right at the top. If somebody only looks at your resume for 30 seconds, let's make everything that we can stand out to that selection committee in the first 30 seconds. And within that pediatric qualification summary, we took verbiage, and of course you would have to wordsmith it a little bit based on your experience, and put that language from what that selection committee for that award is looking for into that pediatric qualification summary. And then we built out a skills section and did the same thing.
That's awesome. I love how you're aligning the criteria for the award to the actual resume, so that, like you said, that there's some quick and easy identification of matching and aligning, so that it sort of pops out in the reviewer's eyes. It's not a recruiter in this case, it's a reviewer, but they can see, right away that there's some alignment between the two. I like how you pop that out, and how there are some similarities in resumes in general. You know that I am a huge proponent of the summary of qualifications, or personal summary, or professional summary, whatever that might be. I think using the old term objective is sort of old school and not part of a modern resume, or a modern award resume. So I love that you're doing that.
And I mean, it's interesting too, Stacey, because dietitians, we're tough. So it's not like you're just applying for a job and you're going through a recruiter. You have your peers looking at your resume. So you definitely don't want any dietitian spelling errors on that. Otherwise, you're not going to make it past the first 5 seconds.
That's true. With a job, oftentimes a recruiter can be from any expertise area, but when it comes down to the hiring manager, it's one of your peers, and you've got to look good, and it's got to be tight, and it's got to be concise. It's got to be aligned with what the outcome eventually is going to be. So that's great. Any other tip that you would recommend for people?
So I think going also with that modern resume look, and I know you've been talking about this too, really helps you stand out. So instead of it just being, one column, how can you maybe turn it into 2 columns? So if you're only having a 3-page resume, which based on a lot of research, nobody wants to read more than 3 pages. And again, most people probably look at it in 30 seconds or less. So how can you really, really utilize every piece of that paper or, virtual document to showcase again your value and be your own advocate. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, those are so good. So if somebody would like to connect with you and get some one-on-one coaching for an award resume, how would they be able to find you? Where would they find you?
So for career coaching, which includes LinkedIn profile updates, resume updates for awards, job promotion, etc., you can find me on Instagram at Bitcha Nutrition, or I'm also on LinkedIn, just Brooke Schantz Fosco. Definitely feel free to either send me a direct message on Instagram or send me a message through LinkedIn. I love to connect.
That's awesome. That's really great. Brooke, thank you so much for your great advice. I loved hearing your story about how you're helping dietitians get awards, get jobs, get more confidence and advocate for themselves and for our profession, adding value. And I love the idea of documenting legally such that we also add value and keep ourselves safe. So I appreciate your time and your expertise, and there are some links that accompany this video, how you can connect with Brooke and get your resume ready for an award. So thanks so much, Brooke.
Thanks so much, Stacey.